Good morning. Hello. Hello, Diablo D3. How are you doing today? And Happy New Year. You said, "Oh, are you surprised I'm streaming, or something else?" Oh, and hello, Zilby. You're here. You want to come up here, Zilby? Hi. No, you don't want to be held right now? Oh, but you want that. Okay. We can get you that. Hanging out. Oh, not surprised you were just looking at Twitch the exact moment I started. Nice. It's always nice when it works out that way. Sylvia, it's okay. Just water through the pipe. He always likes to face away from the camera. Feel I need cameras all over the room that zoom in on Zilby, and then I can find one that matches wherever he wants to sit. Because I'm not about to try to force him to face certain directions. He would hate that. It wouldn't be very good for him. Uncle Scientist, hello. How was your Advent of Code? I saw you were doing another sort of catch up on Advent of Code yesterday. And Happy New Year. Oh, you're working through 2017. Were you doing this year's? Where for the rest of December, or are you catching up on everything? Okay, you finished 2022. Nice. I think I've done 3 problems across the entire thing. Someday I'll do it. Sylvie, that's my Velcro I use to keep the wires in place. Okay. Maybe it won't be quite as attractive. No, you still wanna. No, Sylvie. Don't eat that. If only there would be a you problem. One of these days I'm gonna do a or I'm gonna start doing what is it called? Open office time? Office time? Then we can go through all the the questions. Both the ones that we've already answered. And also any new ones that come in. But I think we need more people going through the course to generate more of those questions. So maybe sometime. Open door time? Maybe that. I feel with streaming, because it's not really a classroom environment, I feel that we need to come up with another name for it, but that still is familiar and makes sense. I don't know what that would be. Okay, I've delayed long enough that my it turned 7 o'clock and my everything went to the normal shade of everything. I have the nighttime mode thing on until 7, and that keeps it all in a nice sort of removes a lot of the blue light. But now we can go ahead and get started. So I figured out how I'm going to discuss this. We're going to basically acknowledge that I made that we can't really do that, and just show that off a little bit. And that's because we started with a single start to open up VS Code for everything, I need to like show that to then switch over to, yeah, we're not going to do that now. Although I can open up 2 VS Codes probably. That might work. Then I can just keep this open. That should work. Togglebit calls it Ask Toggle a Question, so we can derail the stream for half an hour time. I mean, that's a little bit long. Also, I'm thinking about like actually scheduling them, so I can say something like every Friday will be, you know, we'll have like 2 hours of ask Brooks anything about the courses, you know, or Rust or something like that. I don't know. We'll figure it out. Okay, so I'm gonna turn off music, turn off cat cam. We're good there. And I actually remembered I put on the tag for recording for YouTube, and it's the tags are a weird thing. There's now like 4 recording for YouTube tags that are almost exactly the same, but with just slightly different capitalizations. So that's a thing. Let's see. Then I think we're about ready to go. So I'm gonna jump into recording mode. I don't know how long each section is gonna last. Between sections, I can just chat with you all. But until then, I do the normal thing where I sort of kind of ignore chat / try to like find a way to answer any questions or thoughts or concerns in the video. So with that being said, let's jump into it. Okay, so we now have this running. Let's next start working on just updating you. Now we're gonna run into a slight problem here, which is that if I open up one of the U files, let's go into front end Rust U solution source. Let's say live.rs. We get this Rust Analyzer failed to discover workspace problem here. Well, what's going on here? Unfortunately, Rust Analyzer doesn't know that this is a project file. I mean, it kind of knows that it's a Rust file, but it doesn't know what's going on because it needs a workspace. Well, okay, we could create a workspace and then Rust Analyzer would work. However, I ran into on a stream, I ran into a problem where we can't then run trunk. Trunk doesn't work with workspaces. So what I'm going to do is instead of opening up the live RS over here, I'm going to keep all of this running for the Docker and I'm going to remove that trunk there. Open up a new terminal window. I'm going to cd into front end Rust U solution. I'm going to open up a new instance of VS Code here. So I have 2 versions of VS Code. I have enough memory for this, so this is going to be fine. If you have a low memory system, then I recommend quitting out of VS Code or whatever editor you're using, and then opening up your editor inside of that project over there. Okay, great. So that way I still have Cypress up and running. I still have my database and my backend running in Docker. So this is now going to be you. So if I open up live.rs, Rust Analyzer is running. We have a root level cargo.toml, and that's the reason why this works. Now we've already run our tests, so I don't need to run those again right now. Let's just go ahead and jump into the update. So we're going to start with in our cargo.toml. All of these things have updates. So we're going to update you to 0.20. urouter needs to update also. A lot of these things need to update at the same time because they're incompatible with the previous versions. They're updated to work with the new version of U. Stylist also needs to be updated. There you are. Glue. Well, glue doesn't need to be updated, but it has an update, so let's go ahead and bring it up. And UDux, this also needs to be updated because there's a new version of that. Okay, so green across the board, that's great. We're gonna run into a few little problems here though. So we're gonna let Rust Analyzer run a little bit. And in the meantime, let's go ahead and set up our terminal. We're gonna run a trunk serve, but of course it's gonna have some problems. As soon as it finishes compiling, we already have Rust Analyzer is telling us we have 9 errors, which that doesn't seem to be too bad right now. But let's sort of go through these and see what we have. So first of all, this, okay, so BB link here. So this is in our choose style sheet. This struct takes 0 lifetime arguments, but we gave it a lifetime, so style source doesn't look like it requires this anymore. Okay. Now, I hesitate to go a little bit too far into this. Let's see, form on submit. Oh, on submit has changed. Let's see, let's find one of these, libdrs maybe. Here we are. No, that's the render one. That's the router. I'm surprised. Where is it? I think that it's in main, I believe. So this U startup, it's not even looking at this yet because it hasn't found it. So one of the problems is that U now has server-side rendering, and to know which one you want, you have to enable it with a feature. So let's go ahead and create a new terminal here. I'm going to do a U add, Rust cargo add U, cargo add U. And we see now we have CSR, hydration, and SSR. So SSR is server-side rendering. CSR is client-side rendering. So we want to add that as the feature. So we're going to do capital F, CSR. To me, that's just a nice way of, an easy way of adding now that we have this feature CSR added here. This is going to add a few more errors for us, which is a good thing because now we're actually diving into the real stuff. So now I feel a lot more comfortable jumping into these. Okay, so on submit, you expected a function submit event. So previously we had this as a focus event. So it looks like U has changed this from a focus event to a submit event. So we can change that, submit event. Okay, well, this file is actually done. Let's go to the next problem. No method named route found for struct glue history location. Okay, so, well, actually this is use location. So use location has, I believe, changed a little bit. We go into, right, so for U router, let's go take a look at this. So if we go creates.io, router, I think it's U router like this. Where is your, I think it's in the repository, and I think we can see the change list. Where's all your, oh, it might be in the releases. Releases, let's take a look at that. Okay, so we have U agent. This is, oh, this is the full U stack. So this is U router. Oh, so, okay. This doesn't have the change log for it. I believe that it's, actually U.RS's website. They have an upgrade guide, migration guide here for U router. from 016 to 17. Okay, so Navigator API. The history API has been replaced with the Navigator API. This is a use location instead of use history. Okay, so that's not exactly the same. Now this is not saying no method named route found for glue history location. So I'm gonna comment that out so I can sort of see what it is, and we're gonna replace it. Use current route equals. So use history is not showing me that this still exists. If I try to run it, yeah, cannot find use history, and I cannot import it. So this is no longer in existence. What do we have? So we have use, callback, context, use location. So use look. Oh, use okay. Did I use history? I want use location. Okay, so we unwrap you. That gives us a location here. Now I want to get the current route off of it. What do I get? The current route is going to be where are you? Let's see, for the route we want the URL route. The when I point up, I'm thinking like at the URL bar, right? Like we want the actual route for that. Oh no, we want the route for here. Okay. That's what it is. We want to know what the current route is. So maybe use location isn't right. Maybe there is another use that we can use. There's use navigator. That could be it. Oh, use route. So we want to unwrap you, and then this probably takes, I'm just going to guess. I believe this is going to take the route. And that gives me a route here. Okay, so that replaces you. Excellent. One more problem here. Cannot find use history in this scope because I believe this is the one that was talking about like there's a use navigator now. The history API has been replaced with the navigator API. So let's. So I believe it's going to be use navigator. We unwrap that. That gives us a navigator. Now down here, it's saying that this history, which was the navigator, mismatch types expected a reference, found a route. Okay, so can I give you just a reference? Yeah, okay, that seems to work. Excellent. Next problem. Cannot find function use history. Okay, so back to the same thing. We now know, oh, and you know what? I want to clean this up a little bit. We know how to solve this problem. This is going to be a use navigator. And you're going to be a reference. Okay, no function or associated item named render found for struct. Right, okay, so switch here, and they actually mention this here. The switch render is no longer needed. The switch component now accepts a closure of function routable to HTML as the render function directly. So this entire thing, not really needed. Now it's just going to be render equals that switch. Type mismatch. Expected function signature fn route found. Oh, 4. Maybe not switch. Let's go find the router. So I want this. Oh, you know what? You take in a ownership of this route. and that works. So that makes you happy here. However, back in here, I noticed we have a couple issues. Type U32 cannot be dereferenced. Oh, right, because now we own this. We don't need to dereference that out to get the results. We just can get the ID directly. Excellent. Okay, so you're happy. Unresolved import, use history. Yeah, we don't need you anymore. We're going to have a lot of warnings too. I'll deal with those when we get to them. Cannot find function use history. Yes. Okay, so this is the use navigator. And we'll probably have, okay, so add task is upset. Add task is to R's, right? Okay, so first of all, push, need to be a reference. You need to be a reference. Arguments to this function are incorrect, expected, mutable reference, found a dispatch store. Okay, so this is now talking about UDUX. So we have this add task here. Where does that come from? Add task. Oh, that's all the way up there? Yeah, I guess so. It's the main. It's this. Oh, look at this. We're trying to pull in add task and add task here. I'm going to rename this to component. And that way it can't get confused by which version of the function to use. And that actually seems to have solved that problem. Okay, use history. So this is use navigator. And push a reference. And then for you, okay, so we have on submit. You're now a submit event. So on submit, here's our on submit. You are a submit event. And we don't need you anymore. Okay, next up. No unresolved import, use history. Yes, we don't have that anymore. We don't need that history. We do have an error down here. We don't have an error up there. Okay, so that's just an error down here. Use history. So this is going to be a use navigator. And then you are a reference. Okay, cannot find function use history. Okay, again, same thing. Use navigator. And okay, so push. This is going to be a reference here. Use history. This is a use navigator. Another push with a reference. And then on submit, that needs to be a submit event. Okay, so here's our on submit. So you are a submit event. Excellent. Okay. Cannot find type HTML in this scope. Okay, so I want to return HTML. Why can't we find that? We have a use. I have a U prelude. Hey, you should be able to find that if I do U prelude. Let me try renaming that. No, okay, so that's not like it's a similar name being used somewhere else. Can I find, okay, so what's going on? So can I find type HTML in the scope? Not found in the scope, which is strange because we're bringing in the prelude. And when I try to do a command dot, it doesn't give me the option of auto importing it. There's nothing else here that's yelling at us. Let's try. Okay, rewrote it and hit save, and it's perfectly fine. All right, I'll take it. Okay, next up, use history. This doesn't exist. Let's take you out, and that history we don't need either. We have this, okay, use history. This is going to be a use navigator, and then we're going to have a push somewhere. Here it is with a reference. Excellent. We're down to just one here. Mismatch types. Okay, so store. Okay, so what have we got going on here? So mismatch types, expected a struct RC store found a store. Right. So the dispatches have changed a little bit with the new version of Redux. So if I let's comment this out while we go through this. What we can do is we can say I want to do dispatch dot reduce. Now I have the option of doing reduce mute. So if I just do reduce on its own, and we have just a function here which like store that, I believe it shows us now that this is an RC store. But if I change this to a reduce mute, then we actually just get a mutable reference to the store here, and then we can just update it and it magically works. So let's do that. Okay, back to you. So we're going to switch you to reduce mute. We're going to have our store. Okay, that's excellent. That's good. Borrow a moved value. Okay, so priority. Now it's a moved value. So where's priority set? So we have let priority is this string here. Test priority clone. Okay, so that's good. So we have a priority here, and I'm trying to use another priority here. It looks like it's moved here, I bet. So let's try cloning this. Now that should make that happy. Cannot find function start app. Okay, so this is actually in the guide too. If we go to U to 19 to 20, you render here. So this is the new way to start up the applications. So we do this U render, give it the type that we're going for, and then we have new, and then we can run render on that. Okay, so we're gonna do that. So we're gonna have U render. Now we only get this render if you brought in the feature for CSR. If you forgot that feature, you will not find the render at all, and that's a reminder to go add it. We have to give it the app here. And then we're going to create a new render. And then from that new render, we now want to run the render method. Okay. No more warnings, no errors. Let's go to Cypress and just see, is everything still working? So if I rerun the test, some things aren't working here. So let's see. Expected span to not exist in the DOM. So what's going on? Should be able to create an account. So when I create an account, so I visit that, I went there, I typed all this stuff in, that seems to be fine. I then try to get the create account button, and I expected it to not exist in the DOM, and it still did. So let's see if we can recreate that. So I'm gonna, come back. Let's just log out. So if I click create account, yeah, so we create a new account, and this create account should be gone because, well, I'm here, right? Or it didn't log me in. Let's investigate. What's going on? Network? Let's try this again with create account. Maybe it's just not actually creating an account for us. So we do this is most likely an option. Yes, this is the option to find out whether or not we can make this request. And this is our post. So if we take a look at this, we are for a request. Okay, so we send in our password and our username. The response we get, oh, it looks like we got the correct response here. So we got everything that we wanted back. So that seems, so it's not like it's failing to make the response now. Now how does that work? Those buttons, I believe, are in the nav bar. We have the nav right. Here is the welcome username. Oh, here's the create account. Here's the login. If not is logged in. Okay, so if not is logged in. So that must mean that we still think that we are logged in because otherwise these should have shown. No, wait, we is logged in. So it's not. So they're still showing here. So we are still a false on is logged in, which means that we can't find a token in here. Is logged in is a function. Is that a function? It must be because we're calling it like a function. The task edit buttons are not there. These are, yeah. Let's see. So one thing I want to do is I want to dump out what we have in local storage because or is it local storage? I want to dump out what we have in a store. So we know that these are still showing. So maybe what I can do, probably only like dump one thing out at a time. Let's, we can take a look. So if this is logged in, okay, so I take just the token stir. I want to see the entire storage if possible. Where do we have that? We have style sheet. Okay, so this is the nav bar itself. Okay, so here's our use store. So we have access to the store right here. We have a logout on click. We didn't click the logout button. I almost want to do this with like a use effect or something, so that way every single time it updates, I can then just sort of debug and see what that is. Let's do that. We'll use a use effect. This is, I don't think that anything comes in here. We're going to do stuff each time it re-renders, and then we have to return a new function here, which, yeah, we return just an empty body like that, and semicolon. Okay, so I want to move a copy of this store inside. So we'll do a let's wrap this in a block too. Open, close you. Okay, so let's store equals store.clone. So the store is only going to exist inside of this block here. We want to take a look at what it is. It's an RC store, so we can do the entire borrow thing to get it out of it. That's going to be fine. So I want to, let's see. I wonder if I can glue like a toString it or something. Glue console log. Let's see how simple this is going to be. So let's store dot, I want to borrow. can I do? Are you not going to help me, Rest Analyzer? I think I can borrow. Fine, I'll do this over here. It's very temporary. I'm not sure exactly what this is, so I want to see if, can you help me at all? Oh, I want a semicolon here. Stop trying to be too helpful. Okay, so no method named borrow found for an RC. What was the thing for RCs? I think that might be a ref cell thing. Oh, I might just have access to it. So we have the error message, filter options, sort options, tasks, token. Okay, so we have all of this stuff. This is fine. Okay, this is great. Then in that case, can I debug print? Let's try it. If I do a filter, no, I want to format. Let's try formatting. Not that. I want that. I want to debug print the store. Does not implement debug. I wonder if I can tell it to implement debug. Okay, so we have store and source. So here's our store itself. Can we derive debug? Yes, we can. The task doesn't implement debug. So let's go over here and tell you, okay, you need to implement debug. And okay, you're happy now. And then I want to take this S and log that out. Okay, excellent. You need to implement debug. Okay, no errors. We haven't done any logical changes, so not terribly surprising. So if I hit refresh, here's our entire store. So that's not necessarily great, but it works. Let's see. So our username, I don't know if this is easy for you to read. Yes, okay, so we have nothing in here, but if I create an account, let's do a new account again. I didn't see this refresh for that. So the store I don't think updated. And so we don't have a username, we don't have a token. The use effect should cause it to come back and like reprint this out every single time that component got updated. So if this component up here is not updating, that's because the store didn't update. So that explains that. Let's go and see where that's happening. So we probably need to trace this. So what do we need? What happens? Let's go find. First of all, let's close you down there. Let's open up. Okay, so we have our not task edit buttons. I want the nav bar. Okay, so we have the nav bar. When I click create account, it is a link that takes me to create account. So I want to go to the pages for create account. When we submit, so on submit, we dispatch, we move. Okay, so we use the navigator history. We spawn local. We then call create account, and then we go home after this finishes. Okay, here's create account. I'm surprised it didn't bring me down here. Okay, create account. We take in the username and password. So something I like to do when I'm debugging something like this, just go very slowly through it, methodically, try not to like miss anything. let's make sure that well, actually, you know what? We know that this this request out works because we saw in the network tab of the browser, we saw the request going out with the username password, and we saw the response coming back in with the token and the user information. So that is working. So we know that this works here. And so potentially the JSON fails, although this should crash, right? Because we are unwrapping if the JSON actually truly fails. Now this responds back out with an auth response. Did I save this? I don't know what I changed. I like did return and then I undid that. Okay, so create account. This comes back with a result with the auth response. We then go home and then I do the login reducer here. I think maybe we should do the login reducer first. And every change, I just want to test to see if that makes a big difference. So I want to come back to here, trying to create account. That didn't seem to make a difference here, so I doubt it's going to make a difference in the test. Okay, so where was that? That was create account. We're doing a login reducer. Let's come into here and make sure that this is doing what we expect it to do. So login reducer, reduce mute. This function, so the fn once has to return the store after it's been changed. So we set the store username and we set the token. Okay, so one thing I am interested in here is console log. Can we see what this is? So this is a login reducer. And I want this to be well, I can actually do probably like a format. And I want just the entire store at this point. I don't need to take ownership of it in case it yells at me about that. Okay, so create accounts. Okay, so here's the login reducer store. We have a username here. We have the token. Okay, so it's making its way into the store, but then this component isn't refreshing, isn't updating. Okay, so we're getting a little bit closer here. We're starting to understand a little bit more about what's going on. Now we're returning this store here. That's fine. That goes back to the login reducer. Okay, so that goes back to login. So then we go to history push home. Okay, so we go home. And then things should sort of update for us, right? Like everything just sort of should work. Now, I wonder if something is not updating for us here. Let's see. Go home. Okay, actually I'm taking a mental break from this because it's hard to be on like for knowing I'm recording and doing it perfectly. So I'll do a little fade to black thing there and come back into here. Yeah, so clearly the problem is that we're updating. I'm thinking that there might be like an async problem where I need to update. I need to wait. I just don't remember exactly where that is. And I remember we did this ourselves, but this was like before Christmas and before my entire travel debacle. Here, I'll turn on cat cam so you can look at Zilby still here. Let's see, where was I thinking? We can poke around a little bit and then I'll come back here. I know. And he's sleeping, so I don't wanna pet him, bother him. Okay, so the problem is in the nav bar is not updating, right? I'm gonna see if I can find where the problem is, and then I'm gonna go back into recording mode. So the nav bar isn't recording. The nav bar isn't recording. The nav bar isn't updating when the store updates. What are we doing here? So we have this use effect. Now, I would think that the use effect should update, right? I can also do this. I was hearing something really strange, but it was like super soft. Zilby, I think, is snoring. Oh, I don't want to do that. I want to do nope. Stop. I want to do this. I want to do like a pre. No, probably the other way around. Do a pre tag. How many of you remember the Angular 1 days? Okay, so now we can see. You remember HTML before CSS and JS. Okay, so you remember a little bit before the HTML those days. I I took an HTML course when I was in high school, and I don't remember if CSS was out then. I don't think it was. And then I took some more web dev in college, and I remember that we were using tables and everything else, and then CSS came out with like a lot better stuff, and we're like, oh well, now we can change everything. That's great. All right, so this is the good old fashioned way of investigating what's going on. So we can see here our username and token is like that. But we kids still can't center a div. Yes, we can. We have like we have so many ways of centering a div now. It's like we've gone from one way that's really bad of centering a div to way too many ways to center a div. Yeah, so this component isn't updating, even though the um even though the store is. So the store is updating, but the component is not. So why is the store not causing us to update? Normally, if we do this, so we use store, we get the store out. Store, so we clone the store to look at this. Use you. Are we using the data here? We are, right? Yeah, if logged in, we have the token. Token comes from the store, right? Yeah, so here's a token. We clone this out of the store. Okay. Do I need to wait? Wait, there's an on update, right? Oh, hi. What am I missing here? There's an on update. Or is the problem that it no longer is in the store? Are we running into a weird issue with the store itself? So we do the login reducer. So I, okay, so we dispatch, reduce mute. Is this the wrong dispatch? Is this like a weird copy of the store that I'm somehow doing? Where's my navbar? Okay, so we do. Oh wait, this is not navbar. I want login. Create account. So we on submit. We get the result here. I do a login reducer. Do I need to await you? Do you need to be asynchronous now? I'm wondering now if the store, if that's like an asynchronous action. Let's go take a look at store. So let's go take a look at Udux. It's crates, Udux. Oh, Udux has a book now. Okay, so setup example, store, persistence. Okay. Let's just go through. Quick start example. Yes, this is a reduce mute callback, which is like also turning into a callback, which we're not needing to do. Okay, represents short shared state, default. Okay, so then, okay, so that's all good. Persistence. So creating a dispatch is also given when using a functional hook. Yes. Oh, we can use dispatch set. I don't think I've ever used that. We then use reduce and then a reduce mute, I believe. That's what we're doing here. So none of this is showing that we need to do anything with predictable mutation. Yeah, none of this is saying that we need to do anything with like async. But what's this with apply? Simply define your message and apply it. So struct message, add one. Oh, we can create an apply. It gives a counter and then do it. Okay, so we can create Redux style reducers now, which I haven't been creating reducers for because I just haven't felt the need for it. Oh, there's you platform spawn local now? Oh, that's nice. Oh, and we can just go straight into that. That is really nice. Yeah, I should do a deeper dive into Udux now. It looks like a lot of things have changed for the better. But that's sort of besides the point. For this, we need to figure out what's going on with it. What's going on here? So I have this login reducer. I'm passing the store dispatch. Um, I'm cloning that now. I wonder if I can just do this uh, dispatch. What did he do to create a dispatch? Okay, dispatch store new. Okay, dispatch. Now the store is, what's the name of the store? Just store. Lovely. So we create a new dispatch there. Yes, I know you're no longer needed. That's fine. You'll live. I didn't do something silly like create like load trunk up multiple times, did I? I did quit it without stopping it, but you're still running, right? Yeah. Let's try restarting you and make sure that you're really getting my changes. Although you are, because I'm seeing the changes in here. Let's do a hard refresh. Yeah, so that's not updating, but we know that the store, okay, so it's getting into that dispatch correctly. Okay, so inside the store, it gets into this dispatch. So reduce mute. This takes in a mutable reference to the store. We get. Why am I doing that? Stop doing that. Maybe that's why I did that. Lifetime may not live long enough for Trinity's value. Require that one must outlive. Oh, huh. I don't have a lifetime set here, so this must be an internal lifetime. Okay, store has a 1. Must outlive 2. And is this 2? Where is 2? I have no idea where the 2 is. Okay, so that's good to know. So I update you. Now I'm moving auth response in. I mean, I don't think I need to clone the store though. Okay, reduce mute. Oh, FN once takes in a store and returns R the dispatch? So it takes in a function and returns, what is R? So R is a second lifetime. That must be that too. Oh, wait, am I not supposed to return this? Oh, that might be it. That might be it. There we go. There we go. We fixed it. Okay. Let me undo these changes. Okay, so I think that was fine as it was. I don't think. Oh, I put in something in the nav bar, right? I put in this down here, the pre. And I also put in the use effect. Wait, did I put the use effect in during the video? I think I did. I put this in here. Okay, so then all right. So we'll stay here and we'll fade back in and continue working on it. I think I know where the problem is. So we're not getting. Let me log out. Create account. Okay, so we're not getting this information here. We are getting it's not refreshing our store. If we go and take a look at the dispatch itself, here's this login reducer that we're having. And so we did update this to use reduce mute. That's great. Something I'm noticing here though is this reduce mute, it takes in 2 lifetimes here. But it returns this R, which is not the same as this S. And I'm returning the store, which is, well, the S. So let's not do that. And also, let's not clone the store here too. I didn't notice that when I first took a look at it. That seems to work. Let's go back in here and try this again. So do create account. Hey, that seems to work. Okay, so as a review again, we didn't need to change anything except where the login reducer was incorrectly, well, first cloning the store, which, I mean, it's probably going to put the, it's going to put all the data in the wrong store itself. And then we're trying to return the store, which is also incorrect. Okay, so let's, now we have some update things there. Let's go back to our nav bar. We can remove this use effect. We don't need it anymore. And we have 2 warnings. Let's get rid of those. Okay, so this store dispatch. Oh yeah, I was in between the little cutscenes. I was playing around with whether or not it was this dispatch. I believe that the store dispatch is fine. So put that back. And I don't need this deref. Okay, so let's log back out again. Try this again. Yeah, okay, and that is working. Those buttons went away. So back to Cypress again and rerun all of our tests. Let's see how far we get. Everything's working so far. And then we're back onto the error message. Oh, and the error message displays. It found it. We have that really long wait, but that it's working. It was able to find everything. So what have we done? Well, we have updated our project to use U 0.20. But before I finish, I have one last thing to sort of check because I have a vague suspicion from when I've worked on this in my personal projects that we have a problem lingering here that it's really hard to see. And that's going to be because we're using stylist to style all of our components. Take a look at this. In this div here, we have this class stylist. Okay, that seems to be fine. And then we just have source components. Or what? No, that can't be right. So now inside of our classes, we now have routes to the files, almost like a debug type thing. That's not right. What's happening here? Well, stylist updated, and when stylist updated, the way that we create the classes has to update just slightly in order for it to work still. So for this specific one here, so this is source components organisms navbar line 17. Well, it tells us exactly where to go. So let's go back to navbar again. Well, we know it's line 17. So here's where we create our style sheet. I'm doing this as CSS. What I want to do is create a style new. And we're going to have to unwrap this. And we have to bring in style. If we do that, and we're going to come back to here, now this div no longer has that sort of like source in here. So we need to fix all of these wherever we're using the CSS macro. Okay, not that big of a problem. I did have to check because at first when I first saw this, I was like, did I have this problem before? No, it wasn't a problem before. It was working the way we expected it to work before. They've just sort of changed it where now you have to combine CSS with style. So let's do a search. So I want to search for anywhere where I'm using CSS, open parentheses, and okay, so that's all of these. Okay, let's go in and we'll just fix these one by one. So we have a style. Import you. We have a new, and we go to the bottom. Oh, I don't need this anymore. And we have to unwrap you. Now, the unwrap is going to cover in the case that the style sheet is incorrect styles. So if these are correct styles, it's never going to cause a problem for us. So I'm generally fine with the unwrap. If we run into any weird issues after this or any crashes, it's probably because we had an illegal style sheet. Okay, so I want next up. Style new. Import you and unwrap. Okay, and I can almost do this to both you at the same time. I'm gonna do style new. Import you. Do that. This also gets the style new treatment. Like that. Okay. Oh, can't forget the unwraps. Okay, there we go with you. You're happy. Mismatch types expected. Struct style source found. Okay, so link to found struct style. Okay, so style sheet. So this is now going to be just a style. Okay. So looking through this, here next. Okay, so we're going to have a style new. We'll import you and we'll unwrap you. Okay, next up, you. Style new. Import you and unwrap you. All right, this next one has 3 of them in here. Oh yeah, right here. Okay, so guess for each of these CSSs, we can do, did I accidentally, oh, I've got another one up there. That's not what I want. I want that. So select all those. I'm gonna do style new, in parentheses, and that's import you, and then I think all of you are on, you're all on different lines, but I'm gonna just do these one at a time. So close, unwrap, close, unwrap, close, and unwrap. Okay, so that fixes all of you. We're about halfway done or so. Okay, so next one, you only have one in here. Okay, import you and unwrap. Okay. Style new. You're a long one. Not that long. Okay, open that up. We'll import style and we will unwrap. Okay, next up. Style new. Import you and unwrap. Okay. All right, this one already has the style new, so that's great. You. Style new. Import you and unwrap. Okay. Style new. Import you and unwrap. Style new. I could do my unwrap here. It's easier the other way around though. Okay, almost done. Okay, 3 more. Okay, nope, stop. Stop pressing the wrong keys. Okay, so style new. Import, unwrap. Last one. Style new. Import and unwrap. Okay. We do have a warning. Unused style source. Okay, great. We're happy with that. No more warnings. And if we come back to here, all of our classes now have the appropriate class. We don't have weird debug lines like references to our code. That's just like weird and not a good practice generally. But okay, this is still running. Let's run our test one last time to make sure that we didn't break anything during that update. And here we go. And everything is still looking good. If we reach to the end, then I'm going to declare this a success. And we have updated our code from U0.19 to U0.20, along with all of the other sort of libraries that have to go along with it. And there we go. Okay, the test message, the error message is still working, and it's going to find that after its wait. So thank you again so much for watching. Hopefully this has been helpful, and I'll see you in the next video, whenever that is. Bye. All right, and that is done. I had the cat up again. I'm gonna leave the cat up. I didn't have the cat up last time, but this time we had a cat. Well, whatever. I'm gonna leave Zilby up here, even though he's pointing away from it. He moved sometime during that, and I wasn't paying attention. So maybe it'll help. What I'm thinking of doing, and I've seen some other people do this on their programming sort of videos. I haven't tried it before. Is the speed up thing, where you like show the entire stuff, but then you speed up during it. I would love to learn how to do that, because I think that will make things a little bit easier to sort of follow along and not get bored, especially during stuff like this, where I'm just updating a whole bunch of files one after the other. So I'll have to figure that out. But that, well, actually, you know what? Let's before I move on to that's next time. Let's. Oh, I haven't been. Okay, so you're a 0-second video. They don't want that one. Okay, so I think all of these videos are valid, right? You are updating you part 4. Okay, so this is starting to update you. That's a really good idea, Uncle Scientist. I could do that. Yeah, well, I don't even know how to do that. So I'll have to look into that. You part 5. Finishing. Update this time with cat. Right now I'm just using Apple Movie. Because I'm just using iMovie. I don't really have anything else to do with it. So I need to figure out, like, can iMovie do it? If it can't, then I'll have to go find something else that can and use it. Oh yeah, I've used DaVinci Resolve in the past. But it's as you mentioned, it's pretty advanced, and I don't really know how to do it. Right now I'm pretty much using it to stitch together and use the fade to black, and that's been great. It's been like, it's super easy to do that and just build render videos for it. But that's all also like the bare minimum video editing required. So KDE and Live, is that available on Mac, or do I have to boot up my Linux system for that? Because I would imagine, is that only for KDE? There's also open something. There was an open one that I used a long time ago when I was teaching. But again, I didn't do anything with it. Like, all my entire history of using like video editors is to import videos, stitch two together, maybe put something in between it, and then hit the render build. Oh, it has OS X builds now. Okay. Interesting. That's nice. I will. So what I'll probably do is see if I can do it with iMovie, because that's just what I have right now. And if I can't do that, maybe what I'll do is reach out on Discord and just ask for suggestions. But we'll, like, DaVinci Resolve and KDE and Live. Let me see if I. Oh, I can click to show it. Sorry about that. KDEandlive.org. Yeah, I know. Sorry about that. I have it protecting for links. We can go take a look at it. No. free and open source video editor, and can download. Oh yeah. Oh no, it won't work. I have the new. This is for Intel. I have the new chips. So the M1s. So I will not be able to use this until they update and get that going. I guess I could use like a Linux version and run it in a virtualizer. It should work, but you have to use Rosetta. Rosetta with video editing sounds like the worst idea. The worst idea. Because if I want to like create a 4K render of that, that is gonna take a long time through Rosetta. So I will probably, since there are M1 native video editors out there, I'll probably just use that. But we can keep our eye on this, and if this updates, I will can update this. Let's add in a new folder, video editors. I'll throw it in there. They're probably waiting on LLVM upstream to get M1 support working right. I think a lot of things are waiting for that. And as soon as it has it, oh man, there's going to be so many updates. But it's going to be good because even more things will get faster. It's already, things are super fast on these Macs. Okay, so my alarm went off. I need to take off to go head off to work. But let's see, today's Tuesday. So tomorrow I won't be streaming. We're done with this. So it'll give me a little bit of time to maybe try to figure out the video editing type stuff. I don't know when this video will be released and put onto the website. It might. We'll see. I'll announce it on Twitter, and you can probably see it on the Discord, sort of the video channel that automatically updates whenever I put anything on the YouTube. But then let's see. Besides that, I don't really know if I have anything. So my next streaming day is going to be Thursday morning. When we'll be back to work on our next thing, which either is going to be playing with I might take a little quick break before moving on to like the next big project and check out NeoVim with Rust. I don't know if we're going to do a full setup with it or just a checkout with it. And then after that, we have a project to work on. So looking forward to that. So with that, have a great rest of your day, and I will see you all next time. Bye.